Good morning, everybody. Scary here. I'd like to talk about a little bit today about speed bumps. And, we've all seen speed bumps on the road in different areas for years. For years, we've seen speed bumps. I remember back the first time I saw any speed bumps was, let me move this mic a little closer. First time I saw any speed bumps, I was in high school, and the high school I went to was huge. My graduating class was close to 700, but be that as it may, the length of the school was huge, and so there was a driveway that came up. It bent around, and you had to drive all the way down this driveway to get down to the other side of the high school to have student parking. And to come along that drive, there was like 4 speed bumps, about, I don't know, 100 feet apart, maybe less. But that required people to go a little slower because, when you're in high school, you drive like a bat out of hell. I know I did. Can't believe I lived to talk about it, but we did. And sometimes when we were bored, we would because back in high school, everything was rear wheel drive. We would back our tires up on a speed bump, put your foot in the brake, put it in drive, and floor it. And then the back wheels would go, and then tire smoke would be flooding the air. Oh, it was good times, man. It got to a point sometimes where you see molten rubber you'd get out of the car after you spun your tires out. And of course, you didn't give a shit. You weren't paying for the tires. Your parents were. It was your car, but you were still living at home, and they pay for your tires. So why is your tires so bald? But I'm getting off topic. Speed bumps. So that's when I started seeing them back in 77 through 79. Anyways, so the point I'm going to get at today is I am in metropolitan areas, cities, in particular my city. And I've not seen any in Northern Kentucky yet because I haven't traveled over there yet this year because I've just got retired, so I'm going to be doing more traveling. But I'm just speaking on my city. And some rocket scientist down at City Council came up with this plan. They are putting now in the streets. On the streets, they're cubes. They're like, I don't know, 3.5, 4 feet by 3.5 by 4 feet, and there's 2 per lane. If people live and drive in the city areas, they'll see it. And I'm not talking about downtown. They may have them downtown. I'm talking outwards. So the city is considered city. I don't know how many miles radius, but it's, I don't know, from where I live. I'm not considered city. I'm considered a township, but I travel through city limits occasionally, and I'm thinking maybe a 10-mile radius from downtown Cincinnati, from where my township starts and enters the city. So I'm seeing them there. And so there's 2 per lane, and you know what I'm talking about. There's 2 per lane, and they look like pyramids. I don't know how high they go up. I've never gotten out of my car in traffic and put a ruler down. So I don't know how tall this sucker is. It's tall enough to jar your brain around when you go over it. And if you see it coming, then you have time to slow down and go over it slow. But if there's some douchebag behind me driving and he's not paying attention that I'm slowing down for this thing, I'm going to get rear-ended. Because you and I all know that there's always a douchebag somewhere in traffic on their phone or doing their eyebrows in the mirror, or on their phone, or just drinking their coffee or doing something multitask-wise in the car. That's why I keep a keen eye on my rearview mirror at all times, because I got a 2013 Cadillac CTS. And I swear to God, if someone were to rear-end me because they were too preoccupied in their car, I'd probably murder them. I'm being facetious, but I'd be pissed. I'd be highly pissed. Pissed the hell off. Anyway, so I see something like that, I pull to the side and let them pass me. Let the douchebag pass. So, anyways, back to topic. So they have 2 per lane. going one way and then go the other way. I think they stand up maybe I'm going to say 3 inches to the top to the top of the pyramid. And there's no way of getting around them in a lane. You got to go over these things. My argument is this. It's where they're putting them. They're putting them in areas where there's an incline going down into them. I mean, masterminds in city council. Masterminds. And then the highway department, whoever has a mastermind to do this. There's one road called Columbia Parkway, and there's a part of Columbia Parkway that's going down. You're on Columbia Parkway for X amount of miles doing 50 miles an hour, 50 miles an hour. You swing around the bend and you're descending down to a community where you're only going through small business community for about the half a mile, then you go back on the Columbia Parkway. It goes from 50 to 35 miles an hour. Or maybe less, 30. And right before you start to slow down, these landmines are out there. Oh, it's beautiful. I wonder how many people hit that at 50. I wonder how many people that aren't paying attention, and no fault of theirs. Even if there's a sign up saying speed humps, or whatever they call them, speed humps, a lot of times people aren't paying attention to that crap. So they land into one of these things. And if you got a car that sits lower to the ground like mine, you could take out some hardware underneath that frame. Unless you bottom out the frame and scrape the shit out of it. Or God forbid you take out the catalytic converter or the muffler system. Or you bend a rim. Or you whack it out so bad you have to get it aligned. Who's going to pay for that? Is it city planners? Highway department? No, you can't fight City Hall. So you're going to pay out of pocket for this lame brain idea. And it's supposed to slow people down. Let's take one back a little bit further. What about emergency vehicles? Are they going to slow down for this thing? If someone's having a cardiac arrest and they got to get to the hospital? Or even better, how about snowplows? How are the snowplows going to see these speed humps barreling down the road, cleaning the roads off, if they don't see them? That's an abortion waiting to happen. So I don't know what city planner came up with this idea, but they're bilking the taxpayers. They're, well, we're going to put these things in. Me and my boys, we're going to put these suckers in. They closed off a whole road, so you got to detour around while they put the construction on these suckers on the street. Excuse me. So that's what's going on. So that's a problem. That's a real problem. It's going to avoid what it's going to do. It's for me because I live near a township. I mean, everything I need is in a township. I don't have to go into I was going to say my city. I don't have to go into Cincinnati for anything really. Couple appointments have to go through there, but it's going to keep people out of the city limits by putting these suckers in there. It really is embarrassing, and it's bad. It's bad for business, bad for people's cars. It's going to create accidents. Oh yes, it's going to create accidents. It's going to create traffic problems. It's going to wreak havoc on people's cars. I'm just saying. I'm not high. I know it's going to happen. So that's a lame brain idea. But here's my take. If they came to me and said, "Hey, Mr. Butcher Guy, can you do us? We want your ear. We're going to be all ears. We want to hear your voice on this. What would you do?" I would say, city limits. City streets. I tell you what I would do. I wouldn't do any speed humps. I let Mother Nature take its course on people's driving abilities. And they said, "Well, what do you mean by that, Mr. Butcher Boy?" I say, "Well, here's the thing. The streets are not maintained. They never have been maintained. There's potholes everywhere. Some potholes are like a foot deep. West side of town, oh my God, forget about it. East side of town, just as bad. Just as bad. When I'm driving through that area, I'm driving all left, right. I'm doing military driving, left, right, to avoid the potholes. and the streets in disarray. So if you don't have potholes, you got cracks everywhere. They don't repair the roads, and they don't unless they get a grant from the government. They aren't going to repave these roads. No, but our taxes keep going up, but our infrastructure is shit. So I'd say, city council, this is what I would do. I wouldn't do anything. I wouldn't waste the taxpayers' money and put these landmines in the street. In fact, I would let the potholes take care of that business. I'm going to take one a little further here. Why is it that when you travel out of the city and into a township or a village, that's what they call them out here, and everyone knows who the villages are, drive into a little village. A village is like a smaller town. It's incorporated within itself. They're their own entity. Their streets are beautiful. They're manicured, paved perfectly. You could tell when you're leaving Cincinnati and you're driving to a township. Township streets are really nice. You don't have to worry about nothing, man. You can drive along all day long, night and day, snow or rain or snow or whatever. You're not going to hit a pothole. Why? Because there aren't any. If they get one, they fix it right away. They don't fuck around. So, why can't the city do that? Why can't the inner city do that? Oh, what the big deal is? That's my rant. And I had a legitimate rant, I think. And I hope the right people heard it. But they aren't going to hear it. Just like I said, what's that saying? You can't fight City Hall. You can't, but it's stupid. Speed humps in the streets. Yeah. All right, that's enough for another episode. But hey, I got to ask everybody a question. If you like my content, can you do me a huge favor and like it? Just put a like next to it. You don't have to subscribe unless you want to subscribe. But I mean, yeah, give me a like. It's going to help my channel a lot. So I'll catch you on the next one. You all have a nice day and peace out. Later.